Hi everybody, welcome to the Fired Up with CJ show. Today we have Lama Surya Das and we are going to be talking about love. Welcome, love. Hi.
Hi, love. It's nice to see you again. I love talking to you every year at the season of love.
I know, it's a perfect time to do that. It's right around Christmas time. You have how many 16 inches of snow on the ground?
Yes, 16 inches of lovely snow here in Massachusetts and New England. We love it. But it was a pain in the neck last night, I'll tell you. That it took about an hour to go 10 minutes from here driving. But that's life.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. All right, so you were just in Nepal. Tell me about what happened. How was it?
I'd love to tell you, November 19th, I went to India and Nepal on a little personal pilgrimage to reconnect to my spiritual roots and places that I used to be a lot and live in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Spiritual places, Buddhist and Hindu places, the monasteries of my teachers and ashrams and so on. And it was really great. Especially, I spent a few days atop of a mountain, let's call it. It's really more of a big hill, but a Himalayan mountain on the edge of the Kathmandu Valley at the Amitabha Mountain Monastery of Gyalwan Drukpa Rinpoche, who is on a 10-year project right now called Live to Love. So that's kind of relevant to our theme today in this joyous season. And he's an incarnation of great compassion, which is one of the archetypes in Buddhism. Avalokiteshvara, the great bodhisattva, or the compassionate spiritual altruist, let's say, spiritual activist, bodhisattva. So his theme is Live to Love, and he's very involved with all kinds of charitable, socially activist education and infirmary and ecological projects in the Himalayas between Nepal, all the way from Nepal to Bhutan and Ladakh, northern India, these 10 years. So
What's the idea?
there were banners and things like that. So we're all trying to live to love. Of course, we all do live to love, and we love to love, but sometimes we forget and we live, I don't know, to sleep or to eat, or worse, live to work. Or even worse, live to hurt or harm, or,
Yeah. Well, what was your personal insight? So you were around someone whose whole focus is on compassion and living to love. What did you learn personally about living to love that you took away from your trip?
Well, that's a very astute question, CJ. Rather than focus on the outside and the 400 or 500 monks and nuns and the beautiful things they're doing in the Himalayas and for young girls of deprived village situations. What I did have an epiphany, an insight sitting next to him for a few days in the temple and all, and that was that I could live that way too. It was very startling to see how I could align myself likewise and be the same ray, the bodhisattva ray of unconditional compassion, of selfless altruism, and boundless generosity, and not just wondering, what about me? What am I getting out of it? How do I feel? But really live to love and to share and to connect and to feel what others feel and to be moved by their difficulties and pain and suffering to help. And then I could really, it's almost like binary. I could just switch over from the self-thought, what about me, or how do I feel, to feeling what others feel, and balancing it out, not just entirely losing myself unhealthily, but balancing it out with feeling what the other feels, like in a love relationship, so that you can be there for them.
Yeah.
And you can help carry their load. You know what they want without them asking or articulating it, and sometimes they can't even articulate it themselves. And I really felt like I could be like that. I could be like him. And I am, we all are to some extent, but we're usually feeding our smaller self, the what about me, the ego self, the fearful little, separate self, and not the collective soul, spirit, self with a capital S, the great self, the divine self, the cosmic self. And that to the extent that I could, let go of my what about me-ness, that there'd be no resistance in the whole system, and I was in touch with infinite energy. I had so much energy to be there and accomplish things and serve and take care of the young people and the sick people there and so on, because there's no resistance. So it was like the perpetual motion machine. No resistance, no inertia, no fatigue, infinite energy. it was a marvelous switchover.
Yeah.
Not like it's going to take many lifetimes to get there, but you could just switch over if you can, when you can.
In that moment, you're completely supported with the correct energies and
Yes,
you're
totally.
in alignment with yourself. So you went to the mountaintop. You met
Yes.
with this Live with Love guy who is the
Yeah.
manifestation of compassion.
Right.
And then boom, you're in Boston driving with.
I know, it sucks. It's so unfair. It's a conspiracy.
What about me?
What about me? No, that's the point. I'm still in that to some extent, to the extent that I can remember or remember to remember.
Yeah.
Or remind myself to remember that all is not as it seems. And that I'm just here in traffic and, I can still live to love even though it's freezing. And I'd rather be in the Pacific Northwest like you in the green lands of, beautiful snowless, beautiful, green Pacific Northwest with the trees and the ocean. But I am where I am by choice. And last week I was there and now I'm here and it's wonderful. And if I don't want to be here, I could easily move. I have the freedom. And how lucky is that? And even if I didn't, I could move inwardly, make the inward journey. For example, since we're talking about love, from the journey from the head to the heart, the journey from me or selfishness or separateness to us, from I and you separate to we. That's a journey well worth making.
Okay, so when the guy on 91 South cuts you off.
Yeah, no, I know which finger to use.
Right, what finger did he use? How are you getting to the we part?
Read between the lines. No, but then you remembered it. I don't know. This is how it works for me.
Okay.
Look, I've been working on this for a long time. I'm 60 now.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know the whole situation. Maybe that person, guy, to use your old-fashioned words, maybe that guy has a pregnant wife in the back or a bleeding kid. Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
Let him, he cut me off. It's already too late. What am I going to do, ram him? It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, and I'll get there when I get there, and that only, cost me an extra 10 or 20 seconds. Why get mad about it and waste another few minutes or longer fuming about it and telling the story angrily later?
Right.
You just get over it. And interestingly, this is more about patience, but patience and forbearance, acceptance and tolerance is a part of love. Patience is the fourth bodhisattva virtue or paramita, Panacean practice. Paramita, bodhisattva virtue, patience. It seems to me that we're in it for the long run, and if we have our eyes, our sights, and all set on the bigger picture, whether you call it, let's call it eternity for the moment, then, time and eternity are not contradictory. So there's enough time for everything. There's enough time for those who know how to live.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, when I was in India, I would just sit there in the endless, chaotic, noisy traffic with the broken windshield that was letting all the pollution in.
Yeah.
And people would say, when are we going to get there? And I said, we're in India now. We got to slow down and just be here now. Have you heard of that? Like, be here now. But guess why? Because we are here.
Yeah.
Let's be congruent and more one with the situation. And in India, you kind of get used to being that way. Right. You slow down. It's the third and a half world, really, developing nation. Yeah. You slow down, sort of, you get there when you get there. Here, it's like, time is money.
Right.
Keep pushing. Yeah. Optimize. Squeeze everything out of it. Yeah. That's okay, but let it be a choice, not a habit. And it's too much of a habit that we're always trying to squeeze it for everything. Yeah. And we could just be sitting in the car listening. Look, the heated luxury vehicle with its stereo sound, cell phone if you're bored, etc. It's not so bad. It's not like being alone, cast away in the ocean.
Okay, but where did the live for love come into this?
So but I'm saying, so you could love where you are and not hate where you are and detest that you're not where you're trying to get to. Right. You love yourself, you love where you are, you love the moment. Acceptance has love in it.
Yeah. All right.
And love has acceptance in it. How can you love your mate and always want to change them? How long does that love story last?
Yes. Yeah.
So love, acceptance, that's why I said tolerance, forbearance, acceptance, patience. It has a lot to do with love.
I get patience. What's forbearance mean?
Being able to bear up under what's going on. Like tolerance, like you can take it. You might not like it, but like is small. Like the polarity, the dichotomies of like and dislike are small. And love is big. Like you don't like when your kid barfs on your shoulder in the middle of the night, your
Right.
2-year-old, but you still love them and you forbear. You don't throw them away till they feel better or lock them in their room. You forbear. You can bear it.
Okay, so
Even though you don't like barf, you don't like poo-poo
Right.
on you, you don't like pee-pee
Right.
on you, but you know, you love them.
Right.
And you love the process. You signed up for the process. You might even sign up again and have another one and go through it again, the terrible twos, and again, because you love them and you love the process and you love the feeling that it pulls out of you, the love in your own heart, which is really what we love. We think we love the other, but mostly what we love is the loving, the feeling in your heart. And that's what I want to encourage you, to pick on you, all of us, to try to feel what we love when we're loving and what we are not feeling passionate or enlivened or loving about. And so we can choose to follow our joy path, to feel what's in our heart more, to live from our heart. When you feel the loving, that's probably, and I'm not just talking about the lusting, when you feel the loving, that's probably a sign that you're in the right place, the right time, that you're following your joy path, that you're following your heart.
Well, what's so amazing is that the epiphany for you during that moment of meditation is recognizing it's just a thought, just like the thought can be switched. From at that very moment, you said, "I can live to love." At this very moment, I just have to choose to. It's not easy, right? Because but
it's constantly a choice. You can't just throw the switch and it stays that way. That's why I said it's like binary. It's on or off.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the mind is fickle, up and down, happy, sad, judging good and bad, liking and disliking. But that's the nature of the mind, of discriminating, of choosing. Right. But we can choose. Yeah. So we can choose to keep making that choice.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. And then in the next segment, we'll talk about all those different types of love.
I'd love to.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.
I should be more like this. This is not an appropriate thing to do for Lama, is it?
I love you too.
Okay. Bye.